Okay, good morning. This is Rajendra Maurya, and today I am here to discuss about roof garden. So, in roof garden is a garden on the roof of a building. Besides the decorative benefits, it so many benefits. So, the in urban areas we have the tall buildings, multi-story buildings. And in urban areas, land is very expensive, so we don't have open space to develop gardens. So that's why a need to develop the roof gardens. And this roof gardening on the buildings is very popular in Singapore and also now in metro cities in India too. So, main objective of this is decorative benefits. So, other than the decorative benefits, it also has so many benefits. So, benefits of roof garden, the decorative benefit, number one for beautification. So, I mean the on the roof we can grow the some ornamental plants. So ornamental plants, foliage beauty plant, flowering beauty plant, and also those plants they have the beautiful foliage as well as the beautiful flowers. Okay, so that is just only for decoration purpose. So it will enhance the beauty on the roof. So in the free time, family members can enjoy in this roof garden. Second one, roof plantings may provide food. So we can see the in first was the decorative benefit, and in this one the may provide the food. So we can say some vegetables or we can say the fruit plants also we can grow on the roof in containers, pots, containers, trays, poly bags, etc. So, for example, if we are growing the tomato, brinjal, chili, cabbage, cauliflower, and so many more vegetables, and also the fruit plants like the dwarf papaya, strawberries, etc. So, other than the aesthetic value, these plants can provide us the food for our kitchens. Then temperature control, okay. So we can say the on the net roof that is exposed by this direct solar radiation. So temperature increase in the summer or same thing in winter that is too cool. So we can say low temperature. So if we are using that roof as a roof garden, so I mean we are growing the plants on the roof by creating the structure, or we can grow in the pots, trays, other containers, poly bags, etc. So it will be barrier in between roof and solar radiations. So what happens in case of the summer, it will reduce the temperature, or in case of the winter, high temperature. So we can say it will reduce the electricity bill. In summer, low charges, no low minimum usage of electricity for cooling the room temperature. Or same thing in case of the winter, low electricity usage for heating systems to increase the temperature. So it is very important in terms of the temperature regulation. Then hydrological benefits. So that one is the for rainwater, etc. So we can utilize that. And architectural enhancement. So I mean, to enhance the beauty, we can design the architectural designs and habitats or corridor for wildlife, recreational opportunities. So I mean the for play zone, play area. Also, we can put the some play tools, play equipments for recreational opportunities. And in large scale, it may even have ecological benefits. So, for example, for honeybees, butterflies, etc., so they can uh, add the beauty of the garden, as well as they have the many benefits. For example, butterflies and honeybees, they are helpful in pollination process. So roof gardens, the practice of cultivating food on the rooftop of buildings is sometimes referred to as rooftop farming. The practice of cultivating food on the rooftop of buildings is sometimes referred to as rooftop farming. Roof farming is usually done using green roof. So in this one, hydroponics, aeroponics or air dynaponic systems, then container gardens. So hydroponics here, hydro means water or ponics means the nutrition. So in this is a soil-less culture. So I mean the in hydroponic system, no use of soil. So in this one, we use the inert material. So I mean the other growing materials as a supporting, or also we can grow the plants in water solution. So you know the as per the Arnold Stout 1954 gave the three criteria of nutrient essentiality. So based on that, we have to dissolve the chemical salts for as a source of macro and micronutrients, and that dissolved nutrients we will supply to plants. So plants can uptake the moisture as well as the plant nutrients from the solution, nutrient solution. So plant will grow better. So in these many benefits, no major issues that is related to soil. So we can say free from nematodes, okay, or no chances of soil-borne diseases, etc. So in this one, we can do the clean cultivation. So produce will be qualitative, and also definitely many folds it will increase the production. So this is a hydroponics. So we can say generally this hydroponics we do on the roof. So best example in Sri Gyanwar University we have the hydroponic systems. Then aeroponics or air dynaponic systems. So in this, by the use of styrofoam or polythene sheets, we create the structure. So in that one, we have the mist system. And also after that, we make the holes and we transplant the seedlings. So shoot portion is outside and inside environment, roots hanging. So at frequently interval, we spray the nutrient solution in mist form. So this is the aeroponics. So in this one also we can increase the yield as well as we can get the quality produced from aeroponics, similar like hydroponics. Then next one, the container gardens. So we can keep the containers on the roof And by preparing the light weighted soil, we can say the growing media in that, we transplant the seedlings of some selected fruit plants as well as the vegetables. So from that, we can enjoy the beauty of that, as well as we can harvest the foods and we can use in our kitchens. So history of roof garden, humans have grown plants, a top structure since the ziggurats of ancient Mesopotamia. We can say the fourth millennium BC to 600 BC had plantings of trees and shrubs on the above ground terraces. And next one is the an example in Roman times was the Villa of the Mysteries in Pompeii, which had an elevated terrace where plants were grown. So we can say in ancient period we have the lot of good examples of roof gardens. So a roof garden has also been discovered around an audience hall in Roman, Byzantine, Caesarea, etc. And the medieval Egyptian city of Kustet had a number of high-rise buildings that Nasir Khusra in the early 11th century described as rising up to 14 stories with roof gardens on the top story complete with ox drawn water wheels for irrigating them. So in Egyptian city also we have seen the roof gardening that occurred in the 11th century, and also one most famous, that was the among the seven wonders of the ancient world, that was the hanging gardens of Babylon. So it was very popular. So are often depicted as tall structures holding vegetation, even immense trees. So hanging gardens of Babylon also very good example of roof gardens. Environmental impact of roof garden. So roof gardens are most often found in urban environments because in rural areas we have the sufficient lands. And in case of the urban areas, we have the limited land, and land is very expensive, as well as we have the some pollution related issues. So that's why in urban environment we have very good option for roof gardening, and plants have the ability to reduce the overall heat absorption of the building, which then reduces the energy consumption. So already I gave example in case of the summer. If we are have the roof gardens on the top, that will work as a barrier in between the roof and solar radiations. So in summer that is not too hot, so it will definitely reduce the energy consumption. So and similar like this summer, in winter season also reduces the cool down temperature. So no energy consumption in heating to increase the temperature. Then the primary cause of heat buildup in cities is insolation, the absorption of solar radiation by roads and buildings in the city, and the storage of this heat in the building material and its subsequent re-radiations. So plant surfaces, however, as a result of transpiration, do not rise more than 4 to 5 degrees Celsius above and ambient and are sometimes cooler. So plant surfaces are results of transpiration. It will reduce the temperature that will around 4 to 5 degrees Celsius. Then this then translates into a cooling of environment between 3.6 to 11.3 degrees Celsius. Depending on the area on Earth, in hotter areas, the environmental temperature will cool more. A study at the National Research Council of Canada showed the differences between roofs with gardens and roofs without gardens against temperature. So we can say National Research Council of Canada studied on the differences between the roof with gardens and also the roofs without gardens. So what was the difference between inside temperature of the rooms? That study was done by National Research Council of Canada. So the study shows temperature effects on different layers of each roof at different times of the day. Then aside from rooftop gardens providing resistance to thermal radiation, rooftop gardens are also beneficial in reducing rain runoff. So this one is also important benefit of roof gardening. And a roof garden can delay runoff, reduce the rate and volume of runoff. Okay. So we can say the rainwater maximum utilized by the plants grown in the roof gardens, as well as it will reduce the rate as well as volume of runoff. Then as cities grows, permeable substrate are replaced by impervious structures such as buildings and paved roads. Stormwater runoff and combined sewage overflow events are now major problems for many cities in North America. A key solution is to reduce peak flow by delaying, for example, control flow drain on roofs or retaining runoff, that is the rain detention basins. Roof gardens can delay peak flow and runoff for later use by the plants. Urban agriculture. In an accessible rooftop garden, space becomes available for localized small-scale urban agriculture, a source of local food production. An urban garden can supplement the diets of community. It feeds with fresh produce and provide a tangible tie to food production. So this is an advantage of roof gardening, or we can say other term is urban agriculture. And at Trent University, there is currently a working rooftop garden which provide food to the student cafe and local citizens. So this work, wonderful work was carried out at Trent University. The garden may be on the roof of an autonomous building which takes care of its own water and waste. Hydroponics and other alternative methods can expand the possibilities of rooftop gardening by reducing, for example, the need for soil or its tremendous weight. Plantings in containers are used extensively in rooftop gardens. Planting in containers prevents added stress to the roof's waterproofing. For those who live in small apartments with little space, square foot gardening, or when even less space is available, green walls, that is vertical gardening, can be a solution. These use much less than these use much less space than traditional gardening. Square foot gardening uses 20% of space of conventional rows. 10 times more produce can be generated from vertical gardens. So in vertical gardens is also a very good solution to grow the food crops in multiple layers in vertical form. So right now it is very popular, especially in urban areas, and these also encourage environmentally responsible practices, eliminating tilling, reducing or eliminating pesticides, weeding, and encouraging the recycling of wastage through composting. So I mean the plant residues we can use to prepare the compost, and that we can utilize in the urban agriculture. Importance to urban planning. The environmental and aesthetic benefits to cities is the prime motivation. Singapore is active in green urban development. So roof gardens present possibilities for carrying the notion of nature and open space further in tall building developments. So we can say Singapore is leading country in this. When surveyed, 80% of Singapore residents voted for more roof gardens to be implemented in the city's plans. So we can say Singapore people or Singapore residents are much aware about the roof gardens. Recreational reasons such as leisure and relaxation, beautifying the environment, and greenery and nature received the most votes. So these are the major parameters of Singapore residents. That's why they like and they vote in favor of uh, roof gardening. A roof garden can be distinguished from a green roof, although the two terms are often used interchangeably. The term roof garden is well suited to roof spaces that incorporate recreation, entertaining, and provide additional outdoor living space for the building's residents. It may include planters, plants, dining, longing, furniture, outdoor structures such as pergolas and shades, and automated irrigation and lighting systems. Improving the insulation or improving the overall energy efficiency and reducing the cooling and heating cost within a building. Green roofs may be extensive or intensive. The panel that comprise a green roof are generally no more than a few centimeters up to 30 centimeters. So we can say hardly 1 foot. So a few inches up to a foot in depth. Since weight is an important factor when covering an entire roof surface. So if we are increasing the depth of the soil, so that due to the soil weight as well as the water, it will increase the weight. So that criteria should be considered. The plants that go into a green roof are usually sedum or other shallow rooted plants that will tolerate the hot, dry, windy conditions that prevail on most rooftop gardens. With a green roof, the plant's layer can shield off as much as 87% of solar radiation, while a bare roof receives 100% direct exposure. The planters on a roof garden may be designed for a variety of functions and vary greatly in depth to satisfy aesthetic and recreational purposes. And these planters can hold a range of ornamental plants, anything from trees, shrubs, vines, or an assortment of flowers. So, as aesthetic and recreational are the priority, they may not provide the environmental and energy benefits of a green roof. So, aesthetic and recreational both are the priority. So, indirectly, that improve the environment too, and also the energy consumption benefits, etc. Enhance the beauty. So now we are at the end of lecture of this topic, roof gardening. So now we will try to solve multiple choice questions as in this quiz. So question: a garden created on the roof of a building is known as option A, rock garden, option B, roof garden, option C, religious garden, and option D, therapeutic garden. So in this question, correct answer is option B, roof garden. The next question is roof gardens are most often found in this question also have four options. Option A, rural areas, option B, urban areas, and option C, both rural and urban areas, and option D, none of these. Not in rural, not in urban. But in this question, correct answer is option B, urban areas. So roof gardening is very much popular in urban areas. Then next question, the roof garden can cooling of the environment between, in this question we have four options. Option A, 1.6 to 5.3 degrees Celsius, and option B, 3.6 to 11.3 degrees Celsius, option C, 7.6 to 14.3 degrees Celsius, and option D, 9.6 to 18.3 degrees Celsius. So in this question, correct answer is option B. So it 3.6 to 11.3 degrees Celsius. Next question, which of the following university is currently working on rooftop gardens, which provides food to the student cafe and for local citizens? So in this question also have four options. Option A, McGill University. Option B, Trent University. Option C, California University. And option D, Rajasthan University. So in this one is the correct answer is option B, Trent University. So the production of food for student cafe and local citizens is carried out in Trent University. Thank you so much. Hello everyone. This is Dr. Rajendra Modi, and today I am here to discuss the landscape design process. So landscape, land plus scape. So beautification of a piece of land is landscape. So land means piece of land and scape that came from the scene. So I mean the surrounding areas, if we beautify that, that will create the nice scenery. So that attract the people. So this is landscape. And in this topic, landscape design process, for landscaping, design is very important. So how we should design to beautify that particular area? So what is the process? So these things we will discuss today. Landscape design process. So in landscape design process, we have to think. We have to visit the site. Then we have to prepare the notes. Then we have to think, and we have to make the points. What vegetations already existing there, or what is the slope, so what is the drainage provision there, and in terms of the other structures, and also the availability of waters, what is the soil quality, what is the watering source, all these things. And after that, based on the agroclimatic conditions, we have to select. Then we have to prepare the designs on a plain paper. So what features we can develop in there. After that, we have to meet with the client. So we have to appoint a interview. So we will discuss with them. So in interview, we will discuss with the client, what would you like in this landscape? After that, we can suggest this is a preliminary design, and based on the soil conditions and climatic conditions, these plants and these garden features we can develop in this. So after discussion with the clients, we can make the changes in that. After that, we can prepare the final designs. So you can see in rough use of the colors on the bubble diagrams. So in the left hand side designs, that is this just only draw outlines with the help of the pencils. And in right side design, you can see the using of different colors. So I mean the here in green colors that indicates we can develop the turf or lawns, or in case of the red colors, the different other features we can develop in this. Okay. So final design plan, form composition. So form composition, the organization, placement or relationship of basic shapes so as to produce a naturally and logically connected image. Detailed plans for planting and construction. Detailed plans for planting and construction show sizes, locations, quantity of plants and materials. So we can see the what type plants we need, how much quantity we need, or in terms of the grading of soil is required or not. Provision in terms of the drainage, is natural provision available, or we have to create the drainage line. And in terms of the other materials for the hardscape development, what materials we need, what is the cost, and what materials is locally available. So we should give preference to those. Drawn or to scale. So I mean the land is too big and paper is too small. So we have to take the measurements of that particular land and we have to fix the scale. For example, 1 centimeter is equal to how much meters? 20 meters, 25 meters, 50 meters, 10 meters is like that. So we have to fix the scales and accordingly we have to highlight the garden features in that. So final plan examples you can see in this one, the on boundaries and green things you are looking the plain areas. So in that is the lawn development or turf development, and also we are growing the different types of vegetations like ornamental trees, shrubs, vines, climbers, etc. And also we can also plant the avenue trees too. We also seasonal plants, hedges, etc. And what is the provision of parking? And we can see the buildings in this. So in final plan, we have to put all these things. So outdoor room concept. So outdoor room concepts are outdoor wall, outdoor floor, and outdoor ceiling. So outdoor walls, just we can say simple walls, or also we can create the hedges, so that can work as a green wall or outdoor walls. Outdoor floors are we can say the on plain areas we can develop the turf or lawns, etc. And outdoor ceilings. So outdoor walls are defines the limits or size of the outdoor rooms. Slow or prevent movement in a certain directions. So this is also very important to prevent the movements in a certain directions too. Should not be placed in the middle of areas, but sides instead. Materials include like shrubs, small trees, ground covers, flower fencing, and masonry work. Masonry work for hardscapes like pond, water canals, we can see the lanterns, light poles, and we can see the statues, stairs, chairs, garden chairs, etc. And in terms of the shrubs, example like jasmine, sambac, and we can see the jatropha and many more. Even the pride of Barbados too. Or in terms of the small trees, we can grow the Molsri, Mimopsos, LHI, Plumeria alba, etc. And also we can grow the ground covers that we can see the for mass effects. So in particular beds or any other structures, we can use the ground covers. So that will fill the gaps, and in the blooming, it looks nice. In terms of the flower fencing, so we can see the vines or climbers that wears the flowers, beautiful flowers. We can climb on the fencings, etc. And outdoor clothes provide the surface. So materials, grasses like cynodon, dactylon, and we can see the zoysia grasses. All these things we can use to develop the turf, or we can see the lawns, etc. Or in terms of the ground covers, that is the spreading in habit. So have the nice foliage effect as well as the flowers. So we can use those. Sand, gravels, water, bricks, concrete, and patio blocks, tiles, and many more materials we need in this. And outdoor ceilings defines the upper limits of the outdoor rooms. So may offer physical protection, awning or aluminum coverings, shade in summer, drop leaves, warm house in winters. So all these are outdoor ceilings. And in terms of the foundation plantings, so focalize the main entrance with noticeable plants. So we can see some important or unique plants we can put that will be a focal point. So focal point that should be near the main entrance with noticeable plants and complement architectural styles, breathe long continuous lines of the house and avoid competing elements and slack plants. So easily be maintained to proper scale with the house. Height not to exceed 2/3 the wall at house concern. Corners. Use taller plants on corners. So if we want to plant the tall plants, then we should put in the corners. Medium-sized shrubs for one-story homes, large shrubs for two-story or taller. So I mean, if in our garden we have the one-story building, then we have to select the medium-sized shrubs. Or if we have the two-story buildings, then we can choose tall type plants. So use dwarf shrubs or ground covers under windows. So if we are using the dwarf shrubs or ground covers, then windows should be 4 feet height or less above ground levels. So balance the planting with equal foliage mass. So balance is very important in gardens for beautification. Repeat some of the same plants on each end. So repetition of the plant species or any other structures is also very important. So that should be repeat at particular interval. Use variety in plants like texture, color, form. Texture like fine, medium, coarse, medium, and fine textures. Colors, you know, the different colors: blue, red, yellow, orange, etc. And form is round, or we can say the upright. We can say the columnar, these forms. And mass plants. So if we are putting the plants in group, that is the mass plants. Mature size allowed to touch adjacent plants. Foundation mistakes or grown effect. So plants too large for roofiness or windows. So that will hide the view of windows. So never put the large trees towards the windows. Dwarf form and require high maintenance to control size. So sometimes if we are putting the plant